Aquarius, Aquarius ascendant, Aquarius rising. Yes, you. It is your July 2020 video. We're going to talk about the beginning of July. We're going to go over 5 things, Aquarians, 5 things for you in your life that are going to be relevant. We're going to begin with the eclipse. Then we're going to talk about Mars again. But we're going to go deep. We're going to go deep into the house of mystery. The July eclipse touches there. We have an eclipse in Capricorn energy. So where's your Capricorn energy in your chart? Do you know? Do you want to know? Find out. Comment your digits below and I can find that for you. It's free, by the way. Free 99. Free, 100% free. Knowing your rising sign helps you to understand the cycles, the frequencies of those cycles, helps you to understand the timing of those cycles. And then it's like looking at your energetic calendar. And that's what we want, able to navigate the waters of life intelligently. Here we go. We're going to go to your 12th house. We're not even going to mess around. Capricorn energy at 13 degrees and 38 minutes. Now, if you know a little bit about astrology, you can see for yourself where that 1338 is if you have your own chart. If you don't worry about it. G has got you. This is your 12th house. 12th house energy is a mystery. It really is the non-tangible realm, meaning you can't see it. 12th house energy for you is even more confusing because you have tangible energy in the non-tangible realm. So what does that mean? Capricorn is tangible. It's my material. It's things where I can see it so I can believe it. But in the 12th house, Capricorn energy, how would that work? Because if it's your tangible and it's in the 12th, the power of the 12th is that Piscean Neptune stuff. So its ability to make shit disappear, to dissolve things, to confuse things, to make it look blurry, to make it look muddied and uncertain. Capricorn represents our work, our ambitions in the world, our goals. So here we go. If you are an Aquarian ascendant, Aquarian rising, this energy means that your ambitions, your goals, your Capricorn, your goat energy is hidden from you because it's in your 12th house. So it's hidden. It's like, I don't know what my ambitions are. I don't know what my goals are. I don't know. Or I think I know, but then they kind of like escape me. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like it's like I just almost understand it. Like if I could just push that veil, I know it's right there on the other side. So this is that. All right. And so the moon, the eclipse is at 13 degrees of Capricorn energy. Now, Capricorn energy also is like our boss, is a person who's an authority figure in our life. Capricorn energy is government officials, is big business. So it's behind the scenes stuff because it's 12th house playing out. And when we have big business and authority figures from behind the scenes, so these are folks who maybe at their job, they never see their boss. Right? It's simply a name on a check. They don't know who that person is. They've never met them. It's somebody who's calling the shots that you don't even know, that you've never met. It's behind the scenes. It's also a lot of past life stuff, okay? Past life authority figures. So for many folks, this could be you've got parents who you had in another lifetime because it's past life. If you don't like the sound of past life things, like if you don't believe in all that, which you don't have to follow astrology, that's the beauty of it. You can just be, you know what, you can just think of it in terms of these are folks where I have relations, but yet I don't really know who they are. You know, how many times do you have a job where there's like this, you know, a crew supervisor and then a shift supervisor, right? And then like a floor supervisor, and then you've got like an area manager, and then you've got like a superintendent. You know, like there's all these layers of people who are in charge. And so typically you never really know who's in charge. You may hear, oh, so-and-so is coming. We got to be, you know, we got to make sure we do stuff right. They're going to be doing a walkthrough and they're the big ones. And in your mind, you're like, I could care less. I don't know them. Okay, shit, damn, they do right. It's their name on my check type of thing. So it's like a mystery. It's a complicated thing because Capricorn energy is your material world, but your material world that gives you tangible security. So it is hard. Okay, it is hard to figure out. And understanding that it's okay. You really do well. This mystery, this 12th house mystery, because it's an eclipse, that means that some of that could be leaving you. There could be this revelation. This is what we're hoping anyway, because it's a full moon eclipse. The full moon shines a light on something. So typically something that was hidden will be revealed to you, right? This 12th house thing, we can't ignore it. But 12th house is so much more than just the hidden. On a high level, it's about the unity of the community. It's about here we are all one, and understanding how to operate in a Capricorn way, how to be the boss in a Capricorn way on a level that's in the 12th house, which is I'm not just going to say, hey, these are the rules, but I'm going to do this by setting an example, by looking out for my fellow man, for my fellow beings, for my fellow coworkers, by being that person who understands that we're all going to get by diligently, by following the rules, by being ethical, by being highly responsible in groups, but not just groups that we tightly associate with because they have our same goals, but groups in the sense of it's a Christ consciousness energy. And that's really deep. Being the goat in the non-physical form, right? So what is that anyway? Like really, what is that? Because the opposite of that energy is Cancer energy. And that's how we understand it. How does Capricorn truly get by? How do they ascend? They go to the opposite, right? And so your opposite is your 6th house. And your 6th house is your work, all right? It is your work habits, your work routines. It's also your health. Understanding that community, that family, that emotions, that feelings, empathy, nurturing, feminine energy, a mom type of quality to it, mother, embracing that for everybody and honing in on it. And it's not all about being huggy-feely necessarily. Okay, I mean, if you're that kind of a person, great. Usually that doesn't work good in the workplace though. There are other ways you can do this. There are other ways to be sympathetic. There are other ways to be understanding. There are other ways to embrace the whole as opposed to a select few. And this is that. So that moon in that 12th house, having a big light coming in, it's like there was something you were so ready to just be done with. And the moon comes along and says, this is what it was. Here's the clarity. Here's the time is here to release. It's the big release of the old way of doing things. And so we get a glimpse. For many of us, this could be our jobs. This could be jobs. This could be bosses. This could be anyone who's in an authority figure that we're kind of done. And so we're ready to move on. On a large scale, there's gonna be great revealings, right? There's gonna be great revealings in terms of people when we think Capricorn, big business, big government, right? Like all the people who have the power, right? And so this is more about the power is really within the people. And when the people come to that understanding, when we really take that and embrace it, when we realize our power is in our unity together, then we understand even more clearly that the few that hold the power actually don't have the power. We think they do because, well, there's a whole multiple layers of manipulation in there. But the reality is within the unity, folks. That's where the power is. And so the Cancer energy is like, okay, I'm mom, you're my babies, I'm going to take care of you. Because that's what a mom does. She looks out, right? She's passionate about family. Family. This is going to go a long way for you in terms of work. Hone in on family. And I'm not saying like blood relative family. I'm saying I'm making people in your environment, co-workers, employees, making people family, understanding that group activity, that family is going to be it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off large. Mars entered Aries at the end of June. So where is Aries energy in your chart? This is in your 3rd house, Aquarius, Ascendant, Aquarius rising. This is a big deal because this placement, Aries in general, this placement means at times there were situations in your life, the way you talk, right? The way you speak, the way you related, the way you communicated, where you might have said things before you thought. Some people, this placement of Arian energy, this would be especially true if you have a lot of planets in your 3rd house. If not, just keep this in mind for whoever you are listening. Aries are impulsive. They don't think before they speak. They usually don't think at all. They usually like to just take action. So typically, because it's in the 3rd house, our words are our action, right? We could be very vocal and we could be cutting with our words without even realizing it. Because Mars, right? This is that placement. This is that energy of the fighter, right? I can be verbally combative, but I can do it in ways where I know how to cut with my words. And so understand that, okay? Be more sensitive to that. Now, maybe you have already done that, but Mars being there for the next 6 months, you heard me right, for the next 6 months, it's going to challenge other areas of your life. It's going to square it. It's a 90-degree square. It's going to square I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to square authority figure energy. It's going to completely 90-degree square with that. So people who are higher ups, government, bosses, there is going to be something about the way you verbally are, right? You're thinking, you're communicating. This is all about checking your Martian energy, understanding that that third house, the way you speak and think and communicate, there's an overemphasis and over-identification to the ego. It's to the ego. Mars is the ego. And when we don't keep it in check, it rules us. And we forget that Mars is a tool to be taken out of the toolbox when we need to use it. It's a weapon. Well, we don't walk around carrying weapons all the time. That doesn't sound very family. Right? That doesn't sound very nurturing. That doesn't sound very safe. No, I don't want to be in a world where I'm like surrounded by weapons and shit. Like, that's not me. I want to be in a world where I feel safe enough where people don't have to have weapons. That's how we elevate. So understanding you may have issues with people who are in authority. Now, this could be parents, right? This could be anybody in your life who's considered an authority figure, but it likely isn't parents unless you have an absent parent. Right? Unless you grew up and your father wasn't in your life, which would be very typical if you have Capricorn energy in your 12th house. Like dad wasn't around, or the authority figure, you didn't have a role model in some way, shape, or form in your life. If there's friction with that, you might get a resurface of something. Somebody might come back in. There might be a communication. What happens when there's been the absence? There's anger, right? And so anger comes out. And anger is okay. It's more of how do we use that anger? How do we express? And Martian energy doesn't want to think. So elevate that Martian energy, force it to think before it speaks, slow it down, don't let it control you. The whole goal is to let the soul control the ego. And I really want you, this is a big deal for all of us. This is a huge project. It's not easy, doesn't happen overnight. It takes moment by moment, day by day, sometimes second by second awareness and being the witness of ourself, being the witness of how we think, of the thoughts we carry. What you sow, you shall reap. Number 3, we're going to have an 18-month cycle coming up, okay? 18-month is the North Node, all right? So for Gemini energy, right, this is in your 5th house. Your Gemini energy is in your 5th house, right? Your 5th house is how you want to have fun, how you want to have a good time. It's also how you like to create. It's how you express who you are as a beautiful, individualistic, unique human being. This is your 5th house energy. Well, yours is by the way you talk, without a doubt. It's how you communicate. It's also by the way you think. Very, very intellectual, very smart, right? There can be lots of varying degrees of this. Could be bordering like, genius Einstein stuff. But having this Gemini energy in your 5th house is all about honing in on the thinking, understanding, again, how I think has everything to do with how I speak, how I relate, and how I relate with my siblings, right? You have a good fun time with siblings typically because that's Gemini energy there. You love neighbors, you love people in the community, right? In that area, you feel like you have more fun when you're in a community, right? Not alone. You have more fun when you're with others, when you're involving others, especially siblings or others who've come to your life and you feel like your siblings. There's this 13-degree mark. If you have something in either Libra or Aries energy, okay, at 13 degrees, it's going to create complications and stress and tension. All right, it's testing time. It's like, okay, can you pass the test? But without knowing astrology, I'm going to tell you the areas of your life, okay? So this for you, Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius Rising, your 9th house is your beliefs. You're going to have, for the next 6 months, you'll be tested in the ways that you believe. Things that you believe are going to be tested. So in other words, people in your life, significant one-on-one relationships, to be more specific for you, like marriage, partnerships of any kind, business partnerships, it's going to be your beliefs about those things where you're going to, there's this whole thing we've all been going through, all right? And things are revealed about people that we considered partners, and vice versa, right? Things about ourselves, who we are, our partners have realized about us. And so we're reevaluating that and our belief in that. And we're understanding that maybe what we thought we believed we needed for a partner or just the idea of needing a partner, our beliefs are changing about that. That's, a very specific thing to your chart. So I can't speak much more on that other than expect testing, expect stress, expect that the Martian energy is going to want to do. It's going to want to go. Mars likes to be very active. but it's not going to be able to be active. It's going to be constantly stressed and tested by people who are in authority. The law, that's the government, that's people at work, bosses at work, anybody that's got any sort of authority. They're saying, these are the rules and you have to follow by the rules. So this is a time when we are really having to learn how to take Mars and put Mars on the back seat and find other ways to express that Martian energy. And your 5th house is a great way to do it. Be creative, use internet. This is going to be your go-to because for the next 18 months, this is a focus for you. Having fun, utilizing people in the community, and even if it can't be face-to-face, depending upon where you live, then do it via, start vlogging. Go ahead and, start blogging, right? Do whatever you got to do, but keep the line of communication open because this is the way you really communicate. And when we do that, when we stay creative, when we stay crafty, when we stay on our toes and we find ways to channel that Martian energy, right? We got to find a channel. It can't go through that door, so it's got to go through a different one. Hone in on fun activities. Hone in on joy. Things that are childlike or involve children. This is going to work great for you. I know this has been difficult. I know this. I know. You're limited to like, hey, I'm only able to do this via social media now. I got to go on Skype or I got to go on, Zoom or whatever it is. That's okay. You're going to find a lot of joy doing this. And this is going to work great for you. I promise. Because this is where the universal frequencies got you. They are carrying you. Get up on that board. There's a surf coming. The board's there. You're already on the board. Here comes the wave. You see it coming. Now it's time to just ride it. Let it carry you.